Erik ten Hag's Manchester United is doing well, but the manager still wants more goals. The necessity may be seen by looking at United's season's scoring leaderboard. Despite being in top form, Marcus Rashford isn't receiving much support from his attacking teammates. Although Antony has made progress, he still only has 5 goals to his name and hasn't lived up to the £82 million summer investment. As they search for a different goal-scoring option, Manchester United is getting close to signing Dutch striker Wout Weghorst, who is presently on loan at Besiktas from Burnley. Jadon Sancho is still not present, therefore United is looking to young players like Anthony, Elanga and Alejandro Garnacho. The enormous Dutch striker appears destined for Old Trafford after Burnley, his parent club, accepted a £2.5 million compensation payment from his loan club Besiktas. It's not the first time that United has felt the need to increase its offensive threat mid-season in the Premier League era. They frequently went shopping before the transfer window was instituted in 2002 when some of Sir Alex Ferguson's best sides needed a little more vigor up front. Additionally, certain of their January sales purchases stood out more than others. Andy Cole. Newcastle, 1995, $7 million. A few days before Cantona's Kung Fu kick, United scored a coup by acquiring Cole from Newcastle at the same time that Kevin Keegan was turning them into a title-challenging force. Despite a very impressive goal record, some at St James Park weren't convinced by the striker, which opened the door for a £7 million transaction that saw Keith Gillespie travelling in the opposite direction. Cole would play a crucial role in filling the void created by Cantona's suspension, scoring 12 goals in 18 league appearances in the second half of United's ultimately unsatisfying 1994-1995 campaign. Cole, though, made up for it and then some. In 1996, his goals helped United win the league and FA Cup twice, and in 1999, he and Dwight Yorke's prolific scoring combination led them to the Champions League title and the unprecedented Triple Crown. Cole would leave United with an excellent record of 121 goals in 275 games, solidifying his place as one of their greatest strikers ever. 2 more league championships would follow. Diego Forlán. 2002, £6.9 million, Independiente. Before the midway through the 2001-02 season arrival of Uruguayan forward Diego Forlán from Argentine club Independiente, mid-season additions at Old Trafford had fallen out of favor. After a dismal first half of the season, United was far behind in the title race, and it wasn't certain that Ferguson would stay. Given that Forlán took 27 games to score a goal in United colours, a penalty against Maccabi Haifa, and that goal was almost an act of pity, Forlán didn't appear to be his best signing either. After scoring twice at Anfield, Uruguayan forward Diego Forlán gained cult status for the United team. Even still, Forlán, who had long, blonde hair, would eventually gain a following at Old Trafford thanks in large part to the 2 goals he scored in a victory at Anfield in December 2002 that made the Scousers scream. With only 17 goals in 98 games, he was essentially reduced to a stand-in for Ruud van Nistelrooy and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when they needed a break. However, defeat Liverpool and you will always be loved. Dong Fangzhou. Initial £500,000 for Dalian Shurda, 2004. Chinese striker Dong Fangzhou, who joined United from Dalian Shurda in January 2004, undoubtedly had fantasies of being an insanely enormous celebrity. He was the first East Asian player to join the team. Dong had to spend 2 years on loan at Royal Antwerp in Belgium since he was not qualified for a work permit. Ferguson said Dong had the speed and physicality to play for United after he stood out during a pre-season tour of South Africa in the summer of 2006. Dong officially joined the United team in January 2007, 3 years after being signed, having finally accrued sufficient outside experience with China to obtain his permit. His brief and completely unproductive career as a player for United at least featured a few humorous incidents. He qualified for a Champions League winners' medal in 2007-08 thanks to a cameo against Roma in the last group game. After the United team won the championship in 2007, John Terry and other Chelsea players lined up to present a guard of honour at Stamford Bridge to a United reserve team, which featured Dong. 2004, £12.4 million Fulham. Frenchman Louis Saha was a far more successful attacking acquisition around the midpoint of the 2003-04 season. Not as successful as his countryman Cantona, but still a respectable scorer considering his backup position. He grabbed Ferguson's attention when representing Fulham at Old Trafford, and when he joined in a £12.4 million transfer, he had 15 goals for the season. Saha's struggles with injuries made it difficult for him to compete for spots with Wayne Rooney and Van Nistelrooy, but when healthy, he was undoubtedly productive for United. Although United's 2005-06 season wasn't fantastic, Saha had his finest season at the club, scoring 15 goals in 30 games. 13 more were added the following season, bringing the total to 42 plus a few of Premier League medals on top of that. Even though he didn't make the team for the Moscow final, his 5 Champions League matches during the triumphant 2007-08 season were a rather great way to go out before joining Everton. Henrik Larsson. Helsingborg, loan, 2007. Not many United players can claim to have gained such a following in such a little period, but Swedish striker Larsson did so during his brief loan stint. As usual, United pushed forward on several fronts in 2006-07, and players like Rooney, Solskjaer and Cristiano Ronaldo required help. It was wise to sign Larsson, who had previously played for Feyenoord, Celtic and Barcelona, on loan before Helsingborg's Swedish league campaign got underway. Ferguson wanted to extend his stay when he scored on his debut against Aston Villa in the third round of the FA Cup and added a few more goals. Ferguson said, "He's been great for us, his professionalism, his attitude, everything he's done has been terrific." To his credit, Larsson committed Helsingborg and his family to return home in March, and he kept that pledge. Larsson later claimed that he never received the league winner's medal that United sought a special exception for. Manu Cho. Petro Atletico, 2008. The fact that United recruited a promising forward from the Angolan division in January 2008 was evidence of their global reach. Manu Cho, who was 24 at the time of his signing, was discovered by them thanks to Carlos Queiroz, the assistant to Ferguson, and after a 3-week trial period, he convinced them to offer him a contract. Although work visa concerns forced him to be loaned out to Panathinaikos in Greece, where he scored goals to help them advance to the Champions League, Ferguson hailed him as a tall, agile, quick forward. In 2008, just before Manu Cho was set for his significant preseason audition, he regrettably sustained a metatarsal injury. Then, in September 2008, he took the field in a red shirt against Middlesbrough in the League Cup, and 2 months later, he played in what would turn out to be his only league game against Stoke. Manu Cho would have needed to be exceptionally talented to succeed at United given the intense competition up front. He was deemed surplus to needs and sold to Real Valladolid in Spain following a loan stint at Hull City. There, where he spent the majority of his career, he scored 22 goals for Angola in 53 international contests. Alexis Sanchez. 2018 trade between Arsenal and Henrik Mkhitaryan. Midway through the 2017-18 season, Chilean superstar Alexis Sanchez, a proven Premier League performer, joined United. He would, however, fail badly and come to represent United's decline, drift, and haphazard transfer strategy following Fergie. Sanchez was acquired by Jose Mourinho from Arsenal, while the unheralded Mkhitaryan was moved in the opposite direction. However, Sanchez's salary of £500,000 per week seemed puzzling. The only time the club heard Alexis's play music for them was during his piano performance of Glory, Glory, Man United during his unveiling film. He only managed to score 5 goals in 45 games as Mourinho's reign came to an inevitable end, and after much struggle, he was transferred to Inter Milan. In United jerseys, Sanchez is most often pictured either kneeling in utter frustration or standing with hands on hips. Odion Igalo. Shenhua Shanghai, 2020, loan. Dreams do come true occasionally, as was the case for Nigerian striker Igalo, a devoted United follower. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer raised some eyebrows by going to the ex-Watford player in need of more firepower during a season that was about to be derailed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Igalo, who was playing for Shanghai Shenhua in China, probably thought his hopes of joining such a prestigious team were long gone. He put on a face mask and fled China as the virus spread, spending his initial days by himself as a precautionary measure. Igalo scored on his Europa League debut against Club Brugge as the world came to an end. He then scored a stunning goal against LASK in United's final game before football stopped. Igalo's loan was extended by United until January 2021, and in 23 appearances, he scored 5 goals, the majority of them in front of empty stadiums. Thanks so much for watching. I'm truly grateful to be able to share value with you. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe.